Hello and welcome to Youth and Social Life. My name is Dami, and of course, here today, November 19th, of course, is International Men's Day and also International Toilets Day. And of course, I'm sure many people don't even know that we celebrate Toilets Day, and also there's anything also called International Men's Day, as what most people know is International Women's Day. But of course, talking about International Toilets Day, it celebrates toilets and raises awareness of the 4.2 billion people living without access of safely managed sanitation, and that's according to World Health Organization. It also says that it is about taking action to tackle the global sanitation crisis and achieve sustainable development goal, water and sanitation for all by year 2030. And of course, this year theme remarks the importance of sustainable sanitation and climate change. And of course, to discuss with me on this World Toilet Day is Mr. Arubolo Israel, journalist, media advocate who is passionate about molding lives, especially young people who have little or no hope about living lives to its fullness, of course. So is here with me today to expatiate more and to tell us what, of course, World Toilet Day is all about. Good afternoon, Mr. Israel.
Oh, good afternoon.
Thank you
thanks for having me.
And also thanks for joining on.
Yes,
okay, so I'm sure many people out there, actually many youth and many Nigerians and people in the world, are just hearing what they call World Toilet Day. I'm sure people don't know about. So can you expatiate to us what that actually says?
All right, thank you very much for that question. World Toilet Day is a global day, as we all know, and it's usually being celebrated every 19th November of every year. And this year's theme is centered around sustainable sanitation and climate change. So it's very important for us to know that the World Toilet Day is channeled to fight against open defecation or indiscriminate defecation in the world. And by statistics, we have about 4.2 billion practicing open defecation in the world. And the recent study showed that Nigeria is rated the second country in Africa that still practice open defecation. I mean, the first rather in Africa. Then in the world, they are the second country in the world, while India is the first in the world that practice open defecation. So this is a challenge, and we must tackle it to ensure that we have a better environment for our people, most especially the children. Because I found out that children are vulnerable to this open defecation. Just take a look at the WHO 2017 statistics that states we have about 2.2 million of children that are affected by diarrhea. So this simply means that out of this population, we are putting the lives of our children at risk, because if we say they are the leaders of tomorrow and then they are not in good health or well-being, then it means it's going to be very difficult for us to actually fulfill this dream. Because the next set of leaders, even for me, they are not just leaders of tomorrow, they are leaders today. And we must know that so that we can start preparing them for the future that is nearest. So it's very important as we celebrate today, and we should put in mind that this day is not just for some set of people, but it's for everyone, and we must all take collective action to see that open defecation in the world is dealt with and reduced to its minimum level.
Okay, so you mentioned the Nigerian being, of course, being the number one in Africa when that still practice, open defecation, and number two in the world, and followed by others after India now. You're talking about Nigeria now. What do you actually think it's still causing these factor and people still defecating openly?
Yeah, that is a very key question. Oh, I noticed that I would say the culture of the people when it comes to maintenance is very poor. Nigerians, we have a culture of not sustaining facility when it comes to amenities around us. Take for instance, I live in a place that people around, even despite the fact they have a toilet that they can use, they still prefer to defecate in a nylon, then pass through the fence
Yes,
to the bush or maybe an open space. So what I think is wrong is we need to engage people mentally, because as a normal person, I don't think it's right that you just see an open space, then you defecate. Common sense should tell you that it is a bad habit for you to just defecate openly without making use of the toilet. So last year or so, there was a global awareness or campaign against open defecation, and the team says that use toilets, stop open defecation. So it's just to change the mindset of people when it comes to defecating, because for me, I believe that when you defecate openly, you are in danger, because the environment, there's a solar system, is not good enough when there is practice of open defecation, because the whole environment is polluted and it's very detrimental to the health of the people living in that community.
Okay, so let's talk about you yourself and your passion towards helping to achieve these SDGs by 2030. Now, when you went to serve, which you just completed your youth service, right?
Yeah.
So you actually built a toilet for the school and for the community in that area. So I just want to ask you, what actually motivated you to do this?
Okay, thank you for that question. I believe that we don't really have to be in position of authority for us to make change in our world. And one of my favorite quotes is, we shouldn't wait for the world to change, but we should create the change for the world to see. So the motivation behind the project, the toilet project, is I was posted to a state in Nigeria, no state to be precise. There's a state capital. So I had the intention at first, before going for service, to engage in other projects, not even toilet projects. But I was going through a school one day, very close to my place of primary assignments, that's St. Teresa School along Uyemekun Road. And I found out that the school, as old as it is, about 74 years old, they don't have a functioning toilet facility in the school. And then I engaged one of the puppies, because they just closed from school, and I had a very, unheard of sort of, because the boy told me that aside that they don't have a toilet to use, they find it difficult when it comes to defecating, because the whole environment was being littered by feces. Even inside the classroom, the neighborhood, they just poured into the school, defecate, and then litter the whole environment. So I discussed this with some key stakeholders in the states, and there's some policy makers. So we were able to put heads together to see how we can raise funds. And through the support that I also got from my scheme, that's the National Youth Service Corps, then we gather resources, and then this was how we were able to achieve the project.
Okay, so achieving this project, now let's talk about that area itself. Now you said there'll be no toilets in that area for a long time, especially in the community. Just few toilets are available in that area, that community.
Yeah, actually the community is urban community, so it's expected that they should all have toilets. But in a state where just very few persons, despite the fact that they have toilets, or they prefer doing open education.
So it's to not enough, it's due to not enough education?
Yes, put it as lack of education, because if they have the right education, they should know that it's not right for them to defecate openly.
Okay, now that you're through with your primary assignments and also NYSC now, and of course, do you still have this passion to continue helping the society and also help helping the United States United Nations rather to achieve the SDG goals by 2030?
Yeah, yes, of course, very important. The SDG goals are very important when it comes to development, because the SDG itself, it's action based, and it's for a long time planning, because for us to achieve a better life for our people, then we must put in place all the goals that we have in the sustainable development. My mission is not just to stop here. I have a passion of coming up with my own NGO, and the NGO will be focused on training young people, especially when it comes to advocacy at not just Nigeria alone, but across African countries. And the NGO is just to create more awareness about community development and areas where governments are failing its responsibility. So we'll come in to see how we can engage policymakers to bring the life that people truly deserve to live.
Okay, so thank you very much. But we'd like you to just say a little thing like to wrap up about this toilet day, and of course advise the youth and Nigerians of course about these World Toilet Day.
All right. To dear viewers at home, it's very important that as Nigerians we must not just leave the work for the government to do. Every Nigerian needs one Nigeria or the other to achieve better Nigeria for ourselves. So the World Toilet Day is a global response to how we can achieve the directive by President Muhammadu Buhari last actually promised to end open defecation in Nigeria by 2025. So for us to achieve, we must all come together and say no to open defecation in our environment. And I'm very sure if we put all these into perspective, then we'll achieve a better sustainable development goal for our country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Israel. Thank you very much for joining us today. And also, we're going on a short break now, and when we come back, of course, we'll continue with the International Men's Day. All right, welcome back. And of course, we've just finished discussing about international, of course, World Toilets Day. And of course, now let's talk about the International Men's Day. When you hear about this, it's actually foreign to many people's ears because they don't even know there's anything called International Men's Day. I went around yesterday asking people, when is International Men's Day? And they were asking me, that is so funny. What do you mean International Men's Day. There's nothing like that, just Women's Day that we have, and of course Mother's Day and Father's Day. But of course there's International Men's Day, which was of course inaugurated in 1992 by Thomas, and of course it's still part of the United Nations, where they really talk about it. But of course very few are very aware of this. We all know about the Women's Day. But of course, this year's theme for International Men's Day is better health for men and boys. And this theme, emphasizes on removing the stigma around mental health and spreading awareness on maintaining better health for men around the world. Of course, before I continue, we can of course watch this video and see what today is all about. Every November 19 is International Men's Day. Many people are aware of International Women's Day, which is celebrated every 8th of March. But few are aware of International Men's Day, which was inaugurated in 1992 on 7th February by Thomas. The theme for 2020 is Better Health for Men and Boys. This theme emphasizes on removing the stigma around men's mental health and spreading awareness on maintaining better health for men around the world. The purpose of International Men's Day is to raise awareness about mental, physical health issues in men, as well as societal issues, and promote positive masculinity. According to World Health Organization's data, suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 45. Data shows that our cultural expectations of gender may contribute significantly to an increased suicide rate in men. Also, according to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, more women are diagnosed with depression more often than men, but men are more likely to commit suicide, and often in violent ways. As the famous phrase goes, boys don't cry, men will always be men, defines the male gender for the society. Men and boys are forced to suppress their emotions or risk being compared to women for being expressive and emotional. As a result, they mask their feelings and do not share instances of abuse and assault. Our society promotes men who don't drink as weaklings. A man who can't woo a woman is considered weak. A woman who is faithful to one woman is considered to be living a boring life. Boys must be independent. Men who talk about their life experiences and hardship are considered lazy. A real man must play ball. Why should it be so? Girls are considered to stand for themselves, so let's encourage men to communicate more and teach boys that it's okay to cry. It's okay to express your emotions. It's okay to ask for help. Your activities does not define you. Let's spread awareness on maintaining better health for men around the world. Happy International Men's Day. All right, welcome back. And of course, if you're just joining me, this is Youth and Social Life, where we are talking about, of course, the International Men's Day that is currently celebrated right now. That's today, November 19th, but many people are not aware of. Of course, the video you just watched right now, of course, just explain everything to you just in small light. And when we're talking about International Men's Day, we are only aware that many people stereotype when it comes to women, but they don't stereotype against men. But that is actually a lie. We stereotype men daily. We actually don't know. And that's by the statement that usually comes out from people's mouth when you say, of course, men are not supposed to cry. Boys don't cry. You're not supposed to show weakness. You don't drink. You're not a real man. Real men drink. Real men smoke. Real men, of course, as a real man, you're supposed to be able to talk to any girl in this world. You're not supposed to express any form of weakness. That is stereotyping men. We just expect that this is what men are supposed to do. We, of course, just push some responsibilities that this is supposed to be for a man. Of course, when a pipe automatically spoils at home, you just feel that, okay, it's the man's job. Let the man come home to do it. Of course, they also classify this as stereotyping them. They will tell you, what do you mean? Can't women do this? And of course, there's been a lot of back and forth with women where they'll be saying, of course, feminism, stereotyping men can't do what we do. But let's forget about that and just celebrate the men today, and also encourage them to communicate more When we talk about men not being able to express themselves, when we say men should not cry, men should not show weakness, they automatically mute their voices in their head and not communicate with people. They don't tell people their mind, they don't tell people what is going on with them, because they feel you are going to consider them as being weak. You are going to see them as a man who can't handle his problem, a man who is just what they call tatafo, that just tells people everything about their life. Meanwhile, you are trying to find a solution. You are trying to find people to advise you, but instead we force men to keep to themselves, to just find a solution to them by themselves, which is what mostly leads to depression. Although there's a statistic that said women are more, they are more diagnosed with depression than men. But when it comes to suicide, of course, women also, there's a high rate of ladies or girls or women who actually, commit suicide or attempt suicide. But the statistics shows that men actually are more successful when it comes to suicide than women, because they don't get to play, they just go ahead with it, and that's because of the many things that is between their hearts, that is them, that is within their heart, and upstairs, but they can't tell people, they can't find solution to, and they just keep it boiling, because they don't want people to just see them as being weak. They want them to still see them as that strong person that they are. Meanwhile, men also should be seen, they should be allowed that moment of weakness. Men should be allowed to ask for help from their women. Boys should be taught that it's okay to be dependent on their mothers for now till they become men. Of course, we don't expect them right from when they are children or when they finish secondary school, they are supposed to be independent because they are men. Or real men also play ball and you don't play ball, or because of that, of course, you are gay, because of that, you're bi, because of that, you're transgender also. That's why you don't do this. We should not try to, put these women in this box. Let's allow them to do what they know how to do best, to show their real character, to show their real personality. Encourage them. Tell them to communicate more. Tell them to do what they love. Tell them that it's okay to show that just little sign of weakness to people. Show it to them. Get advice from people. Communicate, as communication is the key to a healthy living. As we are promoting a better health for men today, let us also always remember, to just look around the people. Let's also remember that we should start training them from when they are small, training children, training boys, because that's the better way that it's going to grow up with them, that they should know that, okay, I can cry. Nobody will talk to me, nobody will insult me, nobody will pick me. Crying is just a moment of weakness. Of course, the next moment I'm going to scream and straight back, just like women also cry. We tell women that you should stand up for yourself. Okay, you can cry. She's a lady, she can cry, but men can't cry. Why is this supposed to be so? That is not, this whole thing is what is defining, of course, and this is encouraged by our society, by our culture. But let's change this culture, let's change the society, and let's celebrate men today, just like the way we celebrate women, celebrate mothers, and also the way we celebrate Father's Day, Christmas. Let's celebrate men today. And also talking about the World Toilet Day. Toilet Day, open defecation. There's something that when I was in secondary school that we call it short put. You just look for a nylon and just defecate and just throw it over the fence or throw it over way, and they call it short put, just easy access there. But let's try to stop this open defecation. The toilet is there. Let's get a culture of using the toilet. The toilet is just there for you to defecate, not for fancies, not for you to decorate or anything. When we believe that people who are educated, even of course literate and illiterate, when they see toilet, they know what it's used for. So we should try to make use of it and not just make Nigeria. Let's try to remove Nigeria from being the first in the African country to still defecate outside, and also second in the world. Man, that is really not a good reputation when it comes to Nigeria in terms of open defecation. So of course, these are the two things that we are celebrating today. If you want to get more of this, more information on all this, you can always visit our website, and that's www.vanguardngra.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channels, and also follow us on all our social media platforms that are showing on your screen. Thank you for joining us, and also thank you very much for sharing your data, for using your data rather to watch our program. And of course, we have more programs coming up, like training issues is coming up right now. So of course, stay there as you will get a notification put on your notification button to, of course, to always get informed anytime we are online. And of course, my name is Dami, and of course, I have Duzi at the back of the scene and Precious, who are also there watching and helping to organize this. It's bye from me. Every November 19 is International Men's Day. Many people are aware of International Women's Day, which is celebrated every 8th of March. But few are aware of International Men's Day, which was inaugurated in 1992 on 7th February by Thomas. The theme for 2020 is Better Health for Men and Boys. This theme emphasizes on removing the stigma around men's mental health and spreading awareness on maintaining better health for men around the world. The purpose of International Men's Day is to raise awareness about mental, physical health issues in men, as well as societal issues, and promote positive masculinity. According to World Health Organization's data, suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 45. Data shows that our cultural expectations of gender may contribute significantly to an increased suicide rate in men. Also, according to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, more women are diagnosed with depression more often than men, but men are more likely to commit suicide, and often in violent ways. As the famous phrase goes, boys don't cry, men will always be men, defines the male gender for the society. Men and boys are forced to suppress their emotions or risk being compared to women for being expressive and emotional. As a result, they mask their feelings and do not share instances of abuse and assault. Our society promotes men who don't drink as weaklings. A man who can't woo a woman is considered weak. A woman who is faithful to one woman is considered to be living a boring life. Boys must be independent. Men who talk about their life experiences and hardship are considered lazy. A real man must play ball. Why should it be so? Girls are considered to stand for themselves, so let's encourage men to communicate more and teach boys that it's okay to cry. It's okay to express your emotions. It's okay to ask for help. Your activities does not define you. Let's spread awareness on maintaining better health for men around the world. Happy International Men's Day.